yes or no if you have ever seen the movie Mary Poppins. Bonus points if you drop your favorite quote. So we're going to pretend she's dressed up as Mary Poppins eating her favorite fall treat, which is a warm apple pie. But really, she's in Maine with her 2 kids. If she had to choose a pumpkin full of her favorite Plexus product for the rest of her life, it would be the pink drink. But on a daily basis, she's taken the Triplex, which is our pink drink ProBio 5 Bio Cleanse, Ease, X Factor, Active, Lean, and Joyome. But before all those products came into your life, Darcy, take us back to all of those spooky symptoms that you were going through.
Thanks, Brooke, and so happy that you guys are spending an evening with us to learn more and hear our stories. So back before Plexus, I was a teacher. If any teachers are listening in, you know the world of a teacher. I was exhausted. I lived for my sugar cabinet in my closet, and at home, the kids knew mommy had a sugar cabinet. I was a sugar hound. It's kind of what ran my blood, you guys. But I was exhausted. I didn't sleep well. I woke up feeling really run down. And I think the thing that hits me the hardest, thinking back to those days, was that I was very short fused with my own 2 small kids. I felt like I gave it all to my students at school. And at the end of the day, I was a crabby mom. I was exhausted at the end of the day. I didn't have the patience I should have had for them. And I kind of felt like, gosh, I went into teaching to spend my summers and my vacations with my kids. That didn't happen. I was working all summer, teaching summer camps. I took waitressing jobs. We teachers often have to pick up second jobs. And so this dream of I'm gonna be the best mom I can be for my kids. And you go into teaching because you love kids. And that just wasn't happening. So yeah, just a cranky, exhausted, fueling my life with sugar kind of mom, which hurt my heart. It was hard.
I think there's so many people watching that can totally relate with pouring your all into your job, feeling like it's this never-ending cycle, and just being exhausted, eating the sugar to cope. So we can relate. But now that you've jumped into these amazing products and opportunity, what kind of treats has that brought into your life?
Well, yeah. So I even worked private school. So I was a Montessori teacher. So, I gave it my all and was compensated poorly. We don't get paid as well as public school teachers. We don't have the benefits. We don't have retirement packages. And so, I had been doing that for 13 years. And so I actually found the products because of my daughter. She was struggling. We'd been to naturopaths, and I really was after a good probiotic. And my friend convinced me to order wholesale because it was the cheapest way as a broke teacher. And she said, hearing you tell me how tired you are, Darcy, and exhausted you are, you need the pink drink, you need Triplex. I was bloated all the time, had belly aches all the time, like my daughter. So she convinced me. I told her I would never share it, but fell in love with the products. It changed my daughter's life, her gut health issues. And names started popping into my head of who I could help and who needed this. And so I reached back out to her and said, how do I share with others? Because I have teacher friends who need this. I have, friends and family. And she added me to this team page, and I saw all the support, and I saw people making side money while they were home with their families. And I thought, gosh, I would love to not work summer camp. I would love to pay off some debts. And so decided to share, scared out of my mind, put my post on Facebook, and was amazed at how many people were silently suffering. Like you said, Brooke, were silently suffering and didn't think there was any hope, and reached out. And I saw the financial side, and I thought, gosh, what if this could be my vehicle to be home with my children, to give them my all, my dream? And it did. Within the next year, I didn't sign my teaching contract, and I was home. And it was such a blessing to take them to soccer practice after school, to take them to dance, to take them to play dates, and not always shuffle rides for them because I had to be at school till 4 o'clock. And the energy and the sleep and the patient mom that I was needing to be after school. I could kick the soccer ball with my son outside. I had energy to make a healthy meal. I'm going over my 5 minutes. I'm so sorry, but it changed my life and financially changed my life. We now travel in an RV. I reached the top of the company. We travel in this RV half the year. And my kids are seeing the US, and we are together. My husband is home, and it's the time that I was really after. It's just blessed us so much. And was a big skeptic.
I love that. Will you just hold your arm up into the camera and show us that bling on your arm? That right there is a diamond bracelet. Isn't that gorgeous? That is there all because she was skeptical. She started as a wholesale customer, like so many of us do, not wanting to tell a soul, but the name started popping into her head. She had to tell them how her life was changing. And now she has helped enough people to where her monthly income is what most people earn in a year. And she is helping 71% of those people who don't feel good feel better. So I love that, from tired, broke, grumpy teacher mom to somebody who was able to travel for half the year with her family. That is life changing. Thank you for sharing. Next, I want to introduce you to my friend Melody. We're going to pretend she looks like a clown. She doesn't really, but her mom made her a clown costume and she absolutely loves it. So we're going to pretend she's a clown eating Reese pumpkins that she used to eat way more of before she found these products. But really, she's in Northern Kentucky. She lives with her retired hubby, 2 adult kiddos. And if she had to pick a pumpkin full of one product, she would choose a Vital Biome because it changed her and her daughter's life. But she takes almost everything every single day and will never go without Triplex. So take us back to those dark days, spooky symptoms before you found these products. What was life like?
Oh my gosh. So I am a registered nurse by trade, and I owned a boot camp fitness business. And I told everybody, you didn't need supplementation. All you needed to do was eat right and exercise. Well, I didn't know anything about gut health because they don't teach gut health in nursing schools or medical schools. So I started following someone on Facebook, and she was posting about these supplements. So, I kept scrolling. And then a couple years went by and I had closed my boot camp business. I found myself just down and out. And I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure as a business owner, as a mom, a friend. I just found myself on the couch. So I spent a lot of time on the couch. I had, my mood was all over the place. And I saw those posts again. And I thought, well, why not? I'll give it a try. So I placed my order and laid back down on the couch. So when my pink drink came, thought, well, I'll wait till Monday. Well, the next morning I thought, what do I have to lose? Might as well see if I like this, because if I don't like it, I'm not going to drink it. That's a deal breaker. Well, I have loved it ever since. And that was June the 6th of 2018. I have not missed a day of my pink drink. That pink drink got me off of that couch, got me living life again, got me moving. And here I am today, doing things that I never thought I'd ever be able to or be able to do again. And I was the same as Darcy. I was not going to share. This is my little secret. I didn't want anybody to know because I was going to be inserting my foot into my mouth from always telling people you didn't need supplements. And same as Darcy too. I shared these products with my daughter. She had great results. So I had to share. And I shared because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, there were people out there that I could help, that they needed hope like we had found in these products.
So she was totally skeptical about supplementation, like so many of us were, but yet she was anxious every day. Her daughter had anxiety. She was craving sugar. So then she finally said, whatever, what do I have to lose? Let's give it a try. And since then, how is your life different?
Oh my gosh, amazing. Because when I closed that boot camp the year before, I said I would never go into business again. It was too hard. I was getting too old to start from ground zero again, because it takes a lot of work. But when I shared and people started reaching out to me, it just became my passion. And it didn't matter. I was helping people. And here I found myself back into the business. And, here I am 2 years later at the top of the company. My husband did get to retire on time in July, and we bought our dream camper. We're going to be traveling and doing just things that we never thought were possible or that I'd ever be able to do again. So an absolute blessing. You know, I'm moving better than ever. I'm obviously happier than ever. And just no worries, no worries. My daughter is healthy. Our family is healthy. We have not been sick in over 2 years. We haven't seen a doctor. It's truly, truly amazing.
I love that. And there's one phrase that she mentioned that just really stuck out to me, and it was no worries. Like, no worries financially, no worries because the schedule and the grind and the boss and sickness and medication. No, she has time freedom, financial freedom, and health freedom. And that is just incredible. So, no worries. If that is the kind of life you are looking for, you are in the right place. So, thank you so much for sharing that. Next, we're going to hear from my good friend, Casey, who she is Cassie is how you say her name. I was looking at my notes and I totally mispronounced that. So see, anybody can do this. I saw her face. She's like, you know my name, girl. So anyway, she actually lives in Missouri with her 2 daughters. We're going to pretend she's wearing her giraffe onesie. She wouldn't wear it. I asked her to. She wouldn't put it on, but you know, it's a lot of fun. And we're going to pretend she's wearing that, eating her favorite fall treat, warm apple pie with ice cream. If she could pick one product, she actually couldn't. She said Triplex is going to count as one, Pink Drink, ProBio 5, and BioCleanse, because she takes that every day, along with Ease, Active, Edge, X Factor, Joyome, and Collagen. So, girl, I know you had some spooky symptoms. What were you going through before this?
Oh my goodness, yes, I did. And yes, I would have wore the giraffe onesie totally, but I don't want to embarrass people, so it's okay. But yeah, my symptoms, if anybody knows what abdominal pain feels like when somebody has endometriosis or they don't even know what they have, that is what I was dealing with. But I kept pushing it aside, thinking this was just my body and this is something I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life, until I passed out in pain in my college lab room and I couldn't handle it anymore. And a friend found me and she said, Cassie, you're not supposed to be feeling like this at all. And so fast forward, went to the doctor. Of course, we know how that happens. You'll take a lot of these medications. Let's see if any of those ones work, right? Or let's opt for surgery, because back then that was the only way they could determine if endometriosis was really present or not. So I was a college student. I was like, fast forward, just get it done. I want to know what I got, right? So had my first surgery, found out I had stage 4 endometriosis. And if you know what those pains are, they're spooky. They're horrible. I felt I was curled up in a ball, always in pain, sleeping with a heating pad. I always felt like bricks were on my back. I just pushed it off. I didn't know. I just felt horrible. Chronic fatigue was like no joke. I always felt tired. So had our first daughter because we didn't know endometriosis was also an infertility issue, because again, I didn't know what I had. And so fast forward, had our first daughter, but I felt crappy again. I was feeling those same symptoms that I was before my surgery. And I went back, found a different doctor, because again, let's find a different doctor. Let's find different opinions and see if anybody else can help me. And so I went to a different doctor. He told me the exact same thing. This was a he and then a she. And so the second one, she had said, you know, Cassie, a hysterectomy is really going to be in your future. And I was not going to have a hysterectomy at such a young age. That was something I was very determined not to have. So opted for another surgery. I told her to get whatever she could. And I prayed hard. I know all of you guys have been there, where you've prayed so hard for answers and hoping that maybe that doctor or that procedure or that whatever is what's going to help. And it didn't. I had my second daughter. I felt great for a hot minute, and then my pain came back. So I started looking and researching on my own, because I felt I didn't want to keep waiting and counting down the minutes when my husband got home. And so I looked at the Endometriosis Center in Atlanta. I was doing all these things. And when Darcy was talking about silently suffering, y'all, I wasn't going to tell my friends like Brooke or Melody or anybody like, hey, I don't feel good today, that's why I can't come. Or, hey, I'm actually struggling really bad. Sorry. I wasn't going to do that. So I silently suffered all the time. And I never really had true good friends because of it. But fast forward, felt crappy. And that's kind of when Plexus came into my window and my door. It was dangling like a carrot for a really long time, but I pushed it aside because, just like Melody, supplements were not a thing. We were CrossFitters. We were gym goers. We were like, we're just going to eat and change up our diets because I'm going to do the endometriosis diet. I'm going to do all these things, right? Wasn't enough for my body. So that is where my spooky symptoms were.
Yes, and that is certainly spooky. And I know that so many people listening are like, yes, I can relate to the not wanting to go hang out with my friends because I don't feel good, but not wanting to tell them what's really wrong. I can relate to trying all the things, all the doctors. Is this going to work? Is this going to work? And nothing did until you found these products. So I know that your life is completely different now. So tell us on the other side, what is so different? What treats has this brought into your life? And how is your life better? And it looks like she's frozen. Uh-oh. You there, Cassie? Well, spoil alert, none of those symptoms are around anymore. She feels completely better. And if she comes back, I'll let her share her story with you. But we're going to move on. And I'm going to let you hear from my next friend, Angela. And Angela, we're going to pretend she is dressed like Cindy Lou Who, eating caramel apples, which is her favorite fall treat. If you love a caramel apple, drop a yes in the comments. And but she's really in Illinois with 3 kids under the age of 5. So talk about busy. That is her life. She would also pick triplex if she had to pick just one. And I know for a fact that her mama forced it on her. And so she didn't even want to take it. Now she would never go a day without it. Not only does she take triplex, she also takes X Factor, Vital Biome, Mega X, Lean, Joyome, and Ease every day. So take us back to before the mama forced you. What were those spooky symptoms?
Okay, so can you guys hear me okay? We're out and about with all the kiddos in the van, so I'm hiding outside the van. So, okay, my story was like when Plexus found me, I was probably in my early 20s. Numbers aren't my strong suit, but I know it was 2016 and I'm 28, so early 20s. And I was someone that dealt with a lot of different things, like first of all, just chronic exhaustion. Even before kids, I remember working in an office setting, and I would at lunchtime go to behind the wall, and on lunch I would like just nap on the floor. I was just so tired, couldn't hang. Also, women issues. I guess I'll just say that, like a lot of symptoms of things. I know she was talking about endometriosis. I was on the line of like the kind of PCOS type symptoms and rupturing ovarian cysts, incredibly painful cycles. I remember I would walk around with a baggie of ibuprofen at all times and have to just take as many as I could without overdosing, basically, just on around the clock. My mom is a nurse, and she was the one that was like, okay, make sure you take this many hours apart, because she knew I just literally couldn't function. Talk about passing out. I would pass out all the time just for literally no reason. End up going to the hospital. They'd be like, oh, this was off or that was off, or like, we really don't know what's wrong with you. You just hopefully you'll get better. So it was like that for a lot of years. And I just had learned to be so used to it. Also chronic bathroom issues, without getting it too specific, but just lots of issues there. Never regular, and doctors recommending things that never would have been good for me long term, but they had no other answers. Because they don't, as like they were saying, there's not a lot of gut health talk in some of those spaces. So yeah, all of that. Couldn't sleep worth a darn. I don't know if anybody can relate. I would take like 2 to 3 hours to fall asleep, and then I would toss and turn all night. And then of course I was tired the next day. I remember before I got married, I was so nervous I was going to keep my husband up all night, because I was like, well, I don't sleep well. Little did I know he could sleep through like a tornado. But I was nervous about it because it was so bad. And then hypoglycemia, lots of up and downs with blood sugar. I remember being in college one day, I left math class going down the stairs, just completely blacked out, and my backpack fell on top of me, and everyone's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. So many things that I just like had accepted, I guess, as normal. Oh, and really bad cystic acne. So I had my baby Esther, which now she's 5. And this is kind of where my journey started, which I could tell you once, in a minute here. I had her, and I had all these hormonal whacked out imbalances. I had this awful cystic acne that started as a result, and postpartum depression. I was not happy. I was not myself. I just felt everything was off. And so those were my symptoms. There was a lot.
Man, and I can totally relate with what she said. How many of you can relate to popping Tylenol or Aleve or Advil or whatever that is to get your hands on, or taking medicine that was prescribed knowing that it's not good long term, but you just have to be able to function today? That is a scary place to be. So we totally relate to that. So knowing that that's where you came from, how you started taking these products, dove into this journey, tell us what your life looks like today.
Okay, so 4 years later, 100% different. I could literally write a book on all the changes that have happened, not only in my life, but even my husband's life, even my kids' lives. I told you how bad I was doing after having my baby. My poor baby, her gut health was all kinds of whacked out. We realized quickly, because I started paying money for a baby probiotic a friend recommended. And I was like, I will pay any amount of money because otherwise she screams bloody murder 24/7. And so we realized that, oh, when I take care of my gut health, she gets better too. So then I had my second two babies afterwards. Let me tell you what, pregnancy on Plexus is heaven sent. You need Plexus when you're pregnant and when you're not, and every time else. But it helped with like milk supply, things like that. My acne went away. So what happened was my mom is the one that introduced me to it. And so I was again another skeptic, so much against it. I was a fitness instructor. I was like, I have it figured out. Supplements are for pansies or whatever. Like, just eat right and work out. And so her and I don't argue. And I remember like it got very uncomfortable because she was such a strong believer in it. Obviously, there's a reason why. And we were in Sam's one day, and we had to kind of stop the car. I said, "Mom, if you bring this up to me one more time, like I don't know what I'm going to do. This is really making me uncomfortable." And so that's like where it got to. And then she came with me to the dermatologist the day that I was like, "They're going to give me an answer," like, because I just didn't like my skin. I didn't like who I was anymore. I mean, it sounds vain, but you guys should see my before and after pictures. It was awful. And so they're like, "We have nothing for you because you're nursing." And so my mom's like, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm over here. Like, you ready to try this yet? Like, I'll pay for it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this will get you to stop talking about it." Yes. And so that's how I got into it. And here we are now. Financially, it's been the biggest blessing. This year, I hit a rank I've worked towards for years because I ended up sharing about it. Obviously, the products work. Why would it not? And so now this is the first year that we earned, the Lexus and the trip to Hawaii and all the things. And 2020 is what it is. The year's been weird. Things have been different, but it's been a blessing financially. My husband's blood pressure and cholesterol completely regulated. Just can't say enough. The bathroom issues are gone. No ovarian cysts, no lady issues. Like, everything's just done. Happy. It's great.
So her whole life is better. And I'll tell you this, go back to that little story she was sharing about it being uncomfortable with her mom and her telling her mama to be quiet. Guess what? Her mom is so glad that she did not stop, because not only is her whole life changed, they reach that cool rank together where they get the 6-figure income and the car bonus and the trip bonus and all of the things. So I love that. Mama of 3, and Cassie's back too, you guys. So all those spooky symptoms, remember what she was facing? Tell us how your life is different now, girl.
Okay, sorry guys. Spooky enough, my internet went out. So I'm like, really, out of all things, come on now. And I'm like, Satan, not today. Okay. So where I'm at now today, it has been a huge blessing. So I was not going to share. We all have been there. I was not going to be the scammy girl or anything like that. My husband was military. We were prior, all of that. And I just finally decided, I went to an event and I was only going to go for a girls' weekend. And that is where I got to see the people. That is where I got to see the heart of the company. That is where I got to see and hear stories that I was like, oh my gosh, what if this could replace my graphic design job? What if this could replace me working hours and hours on end hand painting signs, because we had bills to pay and those were helping us be not negative every single paycheck. And so getting out of that to where I'm actually getting a good 6 to 8 hours of sleep versus maybe 2 to 3, that has been a huge blessing. I haven't had symptoms at all. Like, I used to be, like what Angela said, I used to have ovarian cyst rupture all the time. I haven't had one rupture at all in 4.5 years. I haven't had any of that. The blessings also is that, working at a corporate job, I never was acknowledged for my accomplishments or, felt gratitude. You know, I would work so hard and do everything, bend over backwards for my bosses, and never felt that love and support like I do here. And so we're able to travel more now. We're able to do more things. I'm able to just feel better on all levels. And to be at a rank that we're at now, and hopefully closer to the next one when God's timing is going to be perfect, that is the beauty of this, and helping and pouring into others. But the next purchase is, we're out in the country. My husband wants more land because he wants to deer hunt. Let's be real. So he wants like 100 acres. So that's like our next big purchase. Instead, you know, we want to travel, but it's more of the opportunities now that we're going to be able to have and be able to pour into, and we homeschool, and to pour into the other activities that cost a lot of money, and that we're able to now help and have our kids do. So such a blessing.
So from 2 to 3 hours of sleep, hand painting signs all the time, to completely feeling better and financial freedom. I hope that what you are getting out of this is that, yes, a third of the people do not even believe that the American dream is possible, but you just heard from 4 people living their version of the American dream. And whatever that looks like for you, whether that's retiring from your husband from firefighting and traveling with him, whether that is traveling with your kiddos a whole half of the year, whether that's staying home with your 3 kids under 5 and doing fun crafts with them and being able to take them to dance and do fun singing dance parties at any time of the day, whether that is being able to stop hand painting the signs and buy acres of land for your husband to deer hunt on, the time freedom, the financial freedom, kicking those spooky symptoms for you, but not only for you, but for all of the people that you love. If you just step out of that skepticism and give it a good try, and then tell everybody that you know to do it with you, your entire life could change too. So Spooktober No More. This is the month for you to say, I'm done with all the spooky symptoms. I don't want 71% of the people in the world living like it's not their best health. I want to go find those people, help them feel better. I want to go find the 80% of the people that are not living the American dream and show them what is possible. Let's kick those spooky symptoms. Let's